On this week's episode of PlayPS5 the podcast, we discuss PS5 backwards compatibility, destroy our health with the Burger King diet, and bring on a PSVR PS5 developer, SnakeTakes, to discuss his upcoming title, End of the Beginning. We also go into our impressions of the PS5 teardown, as well as Sony's surprise demonstration of the PS5 user interface. So crush a Whopper or two while you listen to this, Episode 9 of PlayPS5, the podcast.
This is Episode 9 of PlayPS5, the podcast. Alex, you will not believe it, dude. You, as a listener, you guys won't believe it. I've got a PS5. I have a PS5. Look at it. I know as a listener, you can't look, and it's unfortunate because, Alex, how beautiful is my PS5?
It's a lot smaller than I remember them being.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm used to small packages. Pretty tiny. For those of you who cannot see, I've actually 3D printed myself a small PS5. It is very adorable. It is very cute. Just did it. It is going to be the perfect desktop accessory before November 12th until my real big boy gets in. I love it, dude. It looks really realistic. And now I can brag that I have a PS5 and you don't. So suck on that, Alex.
I didn't know that you printed a PS5. Listen, Adam and I have been arguing about 3D printers for the past month, listeners, and Adam has not been able to figure it out, and lo and behold, he has a PS5 already. I don't get it. Sorry if it sounds like my mouth is full. This week is all about Burger King. I have to eat Burger King every day this week, this month, leading up to the PlayStation 5 launch. It's the only way I can get a PlayStation 5. So I apologize. I'm munching on an Impossible Whopper right now.
Nasty.
It's pretty good. The nasty part is I got it at like 5 o'clock and now it's like 10 o'clock and I'm eating it 5 hours after I ordered it. So that's pretty nasty.
Okay, so that's your gamer food, but what's your gamer juice?
Burger King, BK Cafe, Mocha Coffee. This is all Burger King all the time. If you've seen the movie Super Size Me, this is King Me, baby. Burger King every day. What's it going to do to his body? We're going to find out. What's it going to do to his wallet? We're going to find out. What it's going to do is going to be profitable because I'm going to win a PlayStation 5 in the Burger King. Burger King, send me a DM. Sponsor me.
Yeah, bring it. You know in chess when you're the queen and you get turned into a king? What is that called?
That doesn't happen, man.
Oh, okay. But never mind. I too got my Burger King, although I've already eaten it, and right now I'm just drinking water. So I guess unfortunately that's my gamer juice. But trust me, I am full of the King. Is so far inside me, he's in my gut. Now, here's the thing. I love these console wars that are going on between Xbox Series X and PlayStation. You guys hate each other. I don't really understand it. Certainly you're going to have a preference and you probably aren't going to be able to afford both. But I don't understand why two sides hate each other so much. So we're going to start up until launch a very small segment of the Fool of the Week, who just takes it too far and for some reason cares so much about the other console that they lose their mind and make a foolish statement. Alex, would you do the honor of reading? We're not going to say who tweeted this or who said it, but just the statement itself is wonderful. And I want you to have the honor of bringing us the first inaugural Fool of the Week.
I just want to caveat. I don't think this is foolish. I think this is a work of art. This is my favorite video game related tweet in the past 3 years easily. The tweet begins as such. Cuck simp SJW machine. Xbox Series will show you cuck stations. Enjoy your censorship. Imagine being afraid of boobs.
It doesn't make any sense.
Was this? Hold on, Adam. I didn't see this live. Was this in response to something? Was this a reply to somebody else's tweet?
Yeah, the original tweet was the guy just said, I effing love PlayStation 5. And this was the response.
No, I gotta find there was more to it, right? There was like, imagine not knowing the difference between.
I mean, it just kept going on, but it's.
He said, imagine not knowing the difference between real and fake RDNA. Come on, cuck stations. This is just, it's the best. Listen, I know RDNA is like a processing thing. How do you imagine not being able to tell the difference?
You can't tell the difference. There's nothing to tell the difference in.
I'm sure some people can, but it's just imagine not being able to. Here's the thing about the game console wars is that, back in the day, I got it. It's Sega versus Super Nintendo, and we're all like 6-year-olds on the playground arguing about this stuff that really doesn't matter. Gamers as a whole have gotten older, and you would think the field has matured. But what happened was, it's not just that we matured and are above fighting anymore. No, the only thing that matured is the rating of the language we're allowed to use. So instead of calling people like poop face or butt face or something like that, you get called cuck station, which that is where the artistry comes in, is they take the immaturity and it's got this whole ironic connection to like the really high level profanity, and they just blend it seamlessly. I love it. It's pure art. Cuck station. Adam, I believe you were the one who first brought the word cuck into our podcast.
It was someone called who was it? Mark Cerny. I called him a cuck job. I forgot why. He did something to make me mad.
I think he used the word he used it like a transitive verb. Like he cucked me or something like
I don't know. Okay. Also, to move on, I feel ashamed that I haven't even mentioned this. But we have SnakeTakes Studios joining us for segment 2, talking about their new game, End of the Beginning. And I was so excited about my mini PS5, and then we started talking about this garbage. I forgot even to introduce the fact that we are going to have the developers on here talking about their new game. So if you don't listen to anything else in this podcast, maybe we've disgusted you with this very vulgar language. Please don't demonetize this, YouTube or Libsyn or whoever else is listening. Spotify. But listen to segment 2, because that is going to be a gem of a segment.
It certainly won't be a cuck.
It sure won't. We won't cuck you. Now, news. Alex, it has been official. It is official from Sony that the PS5 will launch with over 99% of the PS4 library that will be playable. Is that a big deal or not?
Yeah, man. So they never told us that it was full backwards compatibility. So you hear 99% and you don't think that's going to be very many games. What that sounds like is it's going to play My Little Pony and Barbie Adventures, and it's not going to play my favorite game. Turns out it plays all my favorite games, and the only games that it can't play are like 3 or 4. I think it's 10 total games, and it's like Afro Samurai 2. Yours Revenge.
There are a couple PSVR games, Robinson the Journey, and there was another smaller
DWVR. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I knew it was a smaller one, but I mean, yeah, games that they're not big games. No one's probably really gonna miss playing them. So I think this is a win. Personally, for me, I couldn't really care. I don't want to play the PS4 games. I want to play the new games. Now, granted, if that meant that maybe I wouldn't be able to go back to Kingdom Hearts, or I couldn't play Final Fantasy VII
They did you a favor.
Yeah, in this, I suppose that would have been nice. But hopefully the future is so bright that I'm not going to want to look in the rearview mirror and start playing old games. It's going to be Bug Snacks, and it's going to be Sackboy, and it's going to be Demon Souls, and it's going to be Hitman, and the hits are just going to keep coming. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm happy. I have so many PS4 games now. I'm happy that I'm going to get to play them again. This is good because I have a bajillion digital PS4 games, which really means I haven't wasted all that money because I haven't had time to get around to them. Here's hoping next year my kids decide to leave me alone and let me play video games for once in my life, and I can get back on the wagon. But yeah, DWVR, that was a game that I was always kind of interested in. I hear the developer, it's just one dude. He's working hard. I think he's trying to get it ready to be ported over to the PlayStation 5. What's weird is I don't know how that is a game that didn't get ported over. I don't know how Robinson the Journey, which is that's a pretty big developer, Crytek, pretty well-known engine with the Unreal Engine, I believe, or maybe it's the Cry engine. But it's not like a little developer, and it's not a little engine. And I don't know why out of all the games it couldn't be ported, that's the one. But it's just interesting. The most random games are the ones that they couldn't port. So I don't know. But like you said, we're not really missing out on anything with that. So yeah, all the all the hullabaloo about the Xbox having backwards compatibility. We got pretty good backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 5 to PlayStation 4 already. That's great. Yeah, we can't play the PS3. We couldn't really do it on the PlayStation 4, so we're not missing anything there. Here's hoping that PlayStation 6 can play all the way back to the PS4. That'll make me happy again. But yeah, it was great news to hear.
Okay, some more great news. So Burger King, if somehow you don't know yet, they are doing a promotion where you can win. There are 1,000 PS5s, 2,000 of Sackboy and Demon Souls, 2,000 of each of those games. And there's 1,000 PlayStation Now subscriptions there for 3 months. Those are all available through their app and just through a promotion they're doing. So that is why Alex is going to be eating Burger King for every day for the next 37 days. And we did a YouTube video. If you want the full details, go to our YouTube page, PlayPS5, and you can look at there. I don't want to go through all the rules. Essentially, the gist of it is you can play by ordering on the app, eating in the store, or mailing in. Now, Alex, I have been holding it in since about 4:06 today. I've been wanting to play my token live and see what I'm going to win on the BK app. So Alex and I we're loaded. We're ready to blow our load right here and win something. So are you ready to go? Because I'm playing right now. I'm going first.
Okay, go first.
What do you think I'm going to win?
Nothing. Think you get a big old fat sorry is what you're going to get.
I hope. Well, oh no. Okay, so I hit play and it doesn't go. So you go first.
It logged him out. Let me give you guys here. Adam made this video. He didn't know this secret about this whole BK promotion. They make it sound like you can only get one per day.
And the rules specifically say you found a loophole.
The rules can eat my butt because here's what you do, guys. You want to make sure you win this. What you got to do is you go on the Burger King app and you order your food through that little button that says order now on the Burger King app. And that gives, if you order something more than $5, it gives you a token right there. And then when you pick up your food, you get a receipt. And on the receipt, they have the store number and they send you an email. And the email tells you what time you bought it, all the stuff you got to do. You go back on the app and you say, ooh, I want to play and I want to enter my receipt information. Bam, that's token number 2. So I'm getting 2 tokens a day and 1 delicious meal a day. And Adam's over here playing cuck with his 1 token a day because he doesn't know how to game the system. I already played. Like yesterday I played and I got a free croissant sandwich. But I don't wake up early enough. I'm never at Burger King early enough to get a croissant sandwich. So I don't know how that's going to shake out. But I won something already. I lost the 2nd token. I just played my 3rd token. I lost that. Here we are on token number 4. I'm going to hit play now. And let's hope it doesn't catch me trying to game the system. Burger King and PlayStation team up. Scratch here for a chance to win. A chance at winning.
Do it.
And it says sorry because here's the deal. Sony they want you guys to feel like there's still PlayStations out there for you guys to win. Burger King wants you to think that you can still win. And so Burger King, they don't want me to win right here live on the podcast like this. But rest assured, we're doing this for 37 days. I'm going to be eating a lot of
So you didn't win on either one of your tries?
Of course I didn't win. Adam, what have you won? What have you won, Adam?
Listen, my app isn't working, so we're going to continue on the podcast. And
Sounds like you hope you better win a new phone, you big cuck station.
Oh my God, I love the cuck stations. Okay, so Alex, how about you just introduce our next topic while I screw around here? And we're going to keep chugging, but when I have this ready, I'm going to blow my load.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, next topic. So another big piece of news was that they did a full official teardown of the PlayStation 5. One of the, I guess, engineers or developers behind the scenes at Sony's had a nice long video of them carefully tearing down, showing you how to take off things like the base plate, how to clean out the air filters to get all that dust out of there, how to take off the side plates. Now, this is really cool because it kind of showed you that they devoted a lot of space to the cooling system so that your PlayStation 5 doesn't sound like a jet engine take it off, kind of like your PlayStation 4 sounds like probably. I know mine does. And then you also get to see a little interesting thing. They have liquid metal cooling, which is a pretty new thing that I don't even think you can really get that in computers without paying a lot of high-end money. Sony engineered this very well. So I think it does a lot of the stuff that like a normal solid heat sink would do, but it's liquid. So I guess it's more efficient at transferring the heat. Either way, it's really cool that we're getting some of these kind of not so good. But the interesting thing about the teardown is we got to see that the PlayStation 5 is indeed ginormous in the hands of a normal-sized human being, unless this Japanese engineer from Sony is a particularly small dude, which I don't want to assume he is. I just think he's probably a normal guy, and the PlayStation 5 is as big as a house.
Well,
That being said, they also
not to be racist, most Japanese people are smaller, right?
I don't know if that's racist or not, Adam. I just wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to go there. You're dragging us in the gutter, Adam.
It's pretty big.
Adam.
It's pretty big. That's where we're standing.
They showed us how to take the base plate off and lay the PlayStation 5 on its side. Adam, have you given thought? Are you going to be a side gamer or an up-down gamer?
You know, that is very interesting. Until I have it, standing up is going to be very close to the amount of room I have in my entertainment center. So it may be too tall. If it is, obviously I'm by default going to be a side gamer, but I kind of like the side look. So I think I'm probably going to go with it either way, to be honest. But I would like to have the option. That would be nice.
What a cuck station. No, I'm certainly going to go up down because that gives me more room on the entertainment center for just other gaming consoles or a nice flower vase or something like that. Who knows what I'm going to do? This thing's going to be huge. This thing's going to take up half the wall space in my house. So I don't know. But it was interesting to see the teardown video. I don't even know how they feel comfortable taking that thing apart. One thing I do wonder, Adam, is do you think they're going to start selling customized or vanity side plates, kind of like Xbox 360 had the face plates that came out? You could get the customized face plates, kind of personalize your Xbox 360. I never was on board with that because I don't want a weird colored Gears of War skull on my normal Xbox. I want it to just look sleek and normal. Adam, yeah, I know it. You're going to get a penis design on the side of your PlayStation. Have you thought about how you're going to get that penis design? How long do you think you're going to have to go with a standard PlayStation design before they're going to start giving you extra flaps for your PlayStation?
Well, I'll definitely like flaps. The more phallic, the better. But I think for me personally, I'm probably gonna keep the white because I kind of, not intentionally, I like black and white. I feel like it looks very modern and I like the aesthetic of a more modern look. So in my room that I'm going to put it in, that was the motif I was going with. So I'm probably going to stick with the white. But I think having side panels that can be replaceable is a brilliant move. Not only is it a really easy passive income for Sony, it's not going to cost them anything. People are going to like it because you're right. Rather than buying a whole new The Last of Us Part 2 PlayStation, you can just buy the side panels. It's cheaper for you. It's still making a ton of money for Sony. And then they're going to be almost unlimited options. And
Here's
you're
what I'm
probably
thinking,
going
Adam.
to, yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 side panel. You hit the nail on the head. We're thinking about bookends. You got one side. It's this looking all cool. This is Ellie, and Ellie's like, I'm gonna freaking kill you. I'm gonna kill you, Abby, for what you've done to me. And the other side, you got like this is Abby, and if you can't see it, but I'm flexing because my arms are very swole, and it's like, you're not gonna kill me. You don't even know me. And you're gonna have that on either side of your PlayStation 5. How much would you pay for a custom flap, Adam?
Man, that's a very good question. Honestly, because I will admit I'm fairly thrifty. I don't think I couldn't pay more than $20. I think they'll charge more than that. They may do 30. They can't do much more than 30. That's just too much for a piece of plastic.
Here I go. You're about to drop $50 on this. Adam, imagine like bookends. You got this side like this, arm folded looking at you. My name is Sora, and I'm gonna get you. Yeah. I'm gonna get you, Kyrie. So my name's Sora. I'm gonna get you, Kyrie. I love your heart. And then you got other side bookend. You got, oh no, you won't, because I'm only 13. Oh no, you won't, Sora. I'm only 13. Adam, quit trying to look at my body, Adam. I'm only 13. My name's Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts.
You're funny. $69. Okay.
Is there a limit?
No,
I must have it now.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on the teardown. I enjoyed seeing it. I've seen some people be worried that the liquid metal is dangerous. The fact that over time it becomes corrosive or just fails to work. And so people started freaking out saying, oh, you definitely have to get the warranty when you get your PS5 because it's not going to last very long. And or there's at least a risk it not lasting the entire duration of this generation. And then I thought it was deceiving. It looked deceptively easy the way he tore it down. And there were a lot of parts, but it didn't look that complicated. You open the Series X box and it's just a tower, but it looks like everything's mushed in there. And I would be afraid to touch the Xbox in terms of complexity and not knowing where things go and how they interact. But the PlayStation seemed almost eerily easy to mess with, which I'm not worried about in terms of it operating or that causing issues. I'm worried about, what happened if I get the bright idea to somehow modify it? And then because it's deceptively easy looking, I think I can do it. And then I F it up and now I'm out of a PlayStation. I just got to avoid doing that. But I really enjoyed it. It has destroyed there's, I don't know, millions of views on it. And so I'm a big fan of it. I'm glad they did it. I'm a little confused why they waited so long, but we have it. I'm happy. And so, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm not happy with the freaking BK app. The thing's a piece of crap.
So here's the thing about the liquid sensor corrosion stuff, or the liquid heat sink. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's always a concern. Back in the day, they had PlayStation 2s had a lot of issues. And then Xbox 360 came out, and those failed so regularly that Microsoft had to extend the warranty by like 2 years. So here's the deal. If the liquid heatsink doesn't work as well as they think it's going to work, and it really becomes a genuine problem, I almost guarantee you Sony's going to have one of those things where you send in your PlayStation 5 and they're going to fix it and give you the new generation. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm not that worried about it. As long as I get a good year's worth of good quality gaming out of it, it's an expensive console. I want more than that, but I know that it's probably going to hold up for a year. And if there's some kind of catastrophic issue, they're probably going to end up having to replace it for free anyways, because the government's going to start cracking down on them. The other thing to keep in mind is, regardless of how much we're paying for this damn PlayStation 5, 3-4 years down the road, there's going to be the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it's going to have 16K resolution with 569 hertz refresh rate and 5 million terabyte storage, and I'm going to buy the hell out of it. So I'm not going to get too torn up about a console maybe not lasting 10 years, although I haven't had a console yet that hasn't lasted that long. It's new technology. Sony's pioneering it. They're not going to sell you a lemon. They don't want to do it. They don't want to. The end.
Yeah. I was thinking along the same lines. This is almost probably, I don't know, you could argue maybe not right, but what I did with the PlayStation is I had the PlayStation, I bought it, and then the PlayStation Pro came out and I bought it, and then I secondhand sold my PlayStation 4. And so I didn't have my PlayStation 4 except for a year and a half. And it's probably what's going to happen with this. As soon as they come out with an upgrade that increases the actual output or the performance, I'm going to sell my PS5. And surely that heatsink isn't going to get destroyed in, like you said, 2 or 3 years. And then this is where it's kind of mean. Once I sell it, that's not my issue anymore. I bought a brand new one. Now, without being just a big time butthole, I will say I'm going to be selling it at a steep discount so that other person, it'll have the box and I'm going to take care of it. And they assume some risk and, okay, I'm paying 40% what I would for a brand new one. That's the risk you take in some of this stuff. So
you try to make yourself sound like a good guy, Adam. How much did you sell your PlayStation 4 for?
But hey, that was the camera and everything.
How much did you sell the PlayStation 4 for?
$300.
That's not a deal. The thing new was like $399.
Listen, it had the 1 terabyte. It was the Pro. I sold the camera. I had the box and the manual.
You think you're nice? Everything. I think you're an ass.
Dude, he offered it. I don't know what to tell you.
You're right. It's because he thought he was getting a good console from a good person. Little did he know is probably covered in man juice from all the Little Star you were playing.
And he drove an hour to get it.
What are these people thinking?
I don't
Did you
know
tell
what-
him that the PlayStation 5 was coming out in less than a year?
But,
Did you inform him that the PlayStation 5 was imminent?
I mean, I told him I'm selling it because I want a PS5. So,
Did you tell him you had a podcast?
I didn't. Dude was real awkward. I was afraid he was going to rob me.
Dude, he could have been our listener. He could have been our number one fan.
He might still be. Who knows? Okay, so that is going to conclude this segment. Next segment, we are going to talk to SnakeTakes Studios. I am pumped to hear about their game. It's coming for PS5. It also has VR support. Big time stuff. You need to listen to that. Then in segment 3, we want to talk about the PS5 user interface that also dropped, and I am psyched to talk about it because I'm on the hype train. Stick with us, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Welcome to segment 2 of Play PS5, the podcast, where we are joined by Jim of SnakeTakes Studio, the developers of End of the Beginning, a soon-to-be PS5 game, and I'll have Jim talk about that a little shortly. Jim, how are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us, my man.
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it. You got it. So, first question is we always ask everyone that we interview, we have our gamer juices for the night, but what is your prime gamer juice, a drink that you consume while gaming, developing, coding, whatever you do?
You gotta stay hydrated with the water, of course, right?
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a gamer juice, I'm probably double fisting the Pepsi and the double caffeinated coffee.
You ever mix them together, man, and it just tastes like garbage, but you're like, I'm getting the buzz.
No, I just go back and forth, cleanse the palate, boom, like, I don't know if it works, but it keeps me up, for sure.
The coffee wakes you up, but it tastes like garbage, and then the Pepsi doesn't really wake you up too much, but it tastes sweet.
But it tastes pretty good. Yeah, it's exactly. You nailed it, right?
So SnakeTakes is based in Canada. So is there like a nationwide game drink that Canada's known for or anything? I've never been to Canada. I don't know what the heck you guys drink. Maple syrup?
Honestly, if you ask most Canadians, they'd be like Timmy's. You gotta have a Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons, okay.
Okay, so coffee. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have a Timmy's and a 6-pack of Donies beside you,
I've never. What's that? I've never heard that.
Just a shorty for donuts, right?
Yeah.
Or Timbits. That's
Timbits. There we go. Yeah, Timbits.
The center only of the donut. The
nucleus.
Yeah, it's like the filet mignon of the donut, right?
That's it.
It
Beautiful.
sounds like an insult. Like, Alex, you Timbit.
Yeah, you would think it's an insult because you're uncultured, Adam. You're swine. You're swine. And me and Jim here, we're cultured. We have a sophisticated palate. We don't eat the whole rind of the donut. We want the special part in the middle.
That's right. It's like when you cut off the crust of the sandwich, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I think it was Tim Hortons' way of throwing shade at Dunkin' Donuts. They're like, "Hey, Dunkin', check this out."
And we also have it live recorded that Alex admits he likes eating holes. So next, this is great fun, but I want to hear about this game, dude, because I have watched the trailer. I have scoured your website. I'm really interested in it. So let's dive into End of the Beginning. How about you tell us a little introduction of the game, what platforms it's going to be available on, and anything in general you want to say about it?
Yeah, so End of the Beginning is it started out as a pet project, actually, all the way back in university days, which is what confuses a lot of people. They're like, "Oh man, I saw this thing 7 years ago," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I was in University of Vancouver 7 years." Oh, right, yeah. That's kind of the inception point, and it grew into like a passion project post with IBM days, right? Go home, work on it with a couple of buddies, and we were trying to figure it out. We were on the Unreal 3 engine. That led us into when the release of Unreal 4 happened. We looked at that and we were like, whoa, okay. It's kind of like what you're seeing now with Unreal 5. It's like a big leap over what you were currently seeing. And we were like, you know what? It's probably worth it because we can pivot as a small, 3-man company at that point. we can pivot on a dime. Let's go to Unreal 4. We're going to have to redo most of the models. We're going to have to redo most of the textures. We're going to have to redo most of the game. But look at what we can do, right? And that was kind of the inception. We were like, okay, let's do a cool... What are we going to do? Are we going to do a 2D platformer? Are we going to do a tower defense? We're like, well, we got this cool storyline, and it deals with real aliens, but this is 10 years ago now, or 7 years ago, almost 10 years ago. We're talking like crazy talk, right? Aliens, UFOs, it's still in the realm of X-Files and, you know, crazy guys like myself, right?
Yeah.
But fast forward to today, and now we're on the Unreal 4 engine, transitioning slowly into the Unreal 5 engine, not for the first game, obviously, because we're too far into development, but for future projects. And we're seeing great results there. But we've got this story now, which is being more or less verified by your government's Pentagon and the Navy and the military, and they're going one step short of saying it's aliens. They're saying, okay, we're going to start researching this because this is obviously something of interest, technology that we haven't created. And that's basically the U.S. saying, if we didn't create it, no one else created this kind of thing, right? The next 16 countries' military budgets combined is almost where the American budget sits right now. So it's like, and here in Canada, we're like, hey, we got an F-35, I think, maybe two of these guys, one in Toronto and one in Vancouver, probably, something like that, where, you guys have a couple hundred of these suckers flying around at all given time. So, yeah, it's interesting because the state of, with COVID, the exception of COVID, I mean, maybe with the inclusion of COVID, it's brought people more. Gaming has gone up how much right now? 60%, something like that? 40
something crazy, yeah. It's the one industry that never takes a hit, it seems.
The more chaotic and scary the world gets, the more they start. So that was kind of the original, if there was a genesis, that was the idea. It was like, okay, if we take a scary message, aliens are real, which like includes questions like, what if God didn't exist? Or what if the aliens are our God? Stuff like that, really high-end philosophical questions, right? Like some of the deeper stuff. And that we were like, yeah, there's some juice there. Okay. But what vehicle do you ride this pony on? Like, do you go to the documentary, which has been done to death, beating the dead horse with that one, right? There's a documentary every 5 minutes, with the exception of a few. I don't know if I should name names. I'm not going to drop names, but there's a couple decent ones that even the latest Lazar one, that one was interesting. The guy who did that one, I can't remember his name, Corbell something, Jeremy. He's pretty good, but for the most part, they're beating a dead horse there. Books, same thing. Magazines. Film has tried it a few times. You had like Encounters of the Third Kind, and then again, you flash forward to Encounter, or what was it? The Fourth Kind with Mila Jovovich, maybe 8 years ago. That was pretty good for an indie, or I'm pretty sure it was a budget film, but it was pretty powerful. But again, it's like poof over everyone's head because it's hitting the 30 to 40 to 50 crowd, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, what vehicle is hitting right now in games? Like, right, what are we playing? What are our kids playing? And, in my case, I'm a dinosaur now at 41. Wow. Almost at 40. I'm still 38.
There you go.
Edit that out.
Just keep dialing it down. A couple 20-year-olds talking about aliens.
Just a couple of dudes. Young Bill and Ted, bro. Just a couple of dudes, man. Yeah.
So I'm hearing a passion for the aliens, and I'm really curious now. So you're a developer. You're making a video game, which is not something most gamers get into. And so you got to really have a love for the gaming. And then I'm also hearing a love and a passion for, the are they out there type thing, and the theories about alien involvement, invasions and stuff. What came first? Did you want to get the truth out there about aliens or explore the knowledge of alien involvement first? Or did you want to make a game first? What came first?
I wish it was so. Like, we started the game first, and the full disclosure, I started contacting ufologists to get a cool Gene Roddenberry, George Lucas kind of story put together, right? And then some of these crazy guys, I love them, but they're crazy, right? Like, they got knowledge and access to stuff that I didn't even realize existed. You know, growing up here in Elk Point, Alberta, and then migrating to the big city of Edmonton, Alberta, of 1 million people. Yeah, it was a different. And then talking to guys like John Lear and Bill Burns, you know, guys like that, eccentric, lovable guys, love them, but eccentric, but knowledgeable. You know, you look at their name and they've got more acronyms like PhD, MD. It's like, what the, you know, 10 different degrees behind their name. And you're like, okay, this guy is not a total kook. How, you know, how could he be, right? He seems to have his career more or less together. He's very eccentric, yes, but he says he's going to send me this information. So I say, okay, let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? Well, 10,000 documents later, and I'm like reading through redacted documents that are, according to, you know, and to be clear, it's not Bill nor John who sent me these documents, but people who they know who have access to.
You gotta cover your tracks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cover their tracks. Right?
Yeah.
It seems like in the U.S. every once in a while one of these guys gets wiped out, like legit, and I'm like, wow, I've never heard of that in Canada, but maybe that's the point.
Yeah. Is it the government or is it the aliens or maybe both?
I'm sure it's the government. I'm sure, almost sure it's the government at this point, because it's like, for this amount, the question I ask is, if this is fake, if all these documents are fake, and there's a lot of them that we're going to give players access to, the ones that are freely available upon the World Wide Web, we've condensed those, boiled off all the fluff, and put together what we call the goods, right? And we'll let them read the same stuff we're reading. And instead of telling them, you know, little Billy, little Timmy, this is what it is, you got to believe us, we're saying, you know, let's bring a more educated debate to the table. What do you guys think, right? Like, what is there any legitimacy to this? And the question I ask myself, and I ask others now that I've read through a number of these documents, is if they are fake, and if the government or whoever, whatever group this was, spent this much time classifying documents only to knowingly or unknowingly in the future that these things would be declassified through something called the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, only to be read by the public, that's a pretty deceptive mechanism to be put in place 65 years ago or 40 plus years ago in a lot of cases for these FOIA released documents. And I said to myself, okay, if they are fake and they're meant to throw us off the trail of something else, how dark is that something else, right? You know, because we're talking about a pretty dark subject to begin with. If aliens are real, well, the Bible can't be totally true. And most religions probably crumble under the weight of the realization that these encounters in the past weren't your gods, they were advanced civilizations. Basically, where we're headed, and guys like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking can have said this in the past, where we're headed to in the next 100 to 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be out there in space, and who's to say that it's any different for the aliens, which kind of solves the next question a lot of people ask, is simply, are they good or bad? And I think the answer is kind of obvious. If they were bad and they have the ability to either travel through time and space at close to the speed of light, if not faster than the speed of light, or travel through space-time itself through alternate universes or parallel universes, what have you, those mechanisms, or some other mechanism we haven't even thought of yet, they could destroy us in a heartbeat. Like, they wouldn't even have to think about it, right? We can almost do that ourselves now as humans. So for them, I'm starting to believe, and this is coming from a former skeptic. So you have to understand, just to ground the you know, where I'm coming from, I haven't always been sure that there's something out there. It's like kind of like an agnostic kind of view now, right? Like, yeah, I was born Roman Catholic, raised Roman Catholic, raised to, you know, basically the tenets of the Roman Catholic Church. We didn't attend Sunday, you know, gatherings very often. It was more like at Christmas and stuff like that, funerals, weddings, right? The usual kind of fare. And thinking I'd known everything growing up near the Cold Lake Air Base, which is up here, kind of the equivalent to like Fort Kent, or, you know, it's a pretty decent air base. Like, if there is a decent air base in Canada, Cold Lake is one of the better ones. It's
Yeah.
well known. And, you know, having seen a lot of different things fly overhead at the airbase, we thought we knew everything. And then fast forward to today, I've seen stuff and read stuff that it makes me question pretty much everything that I saw growing up, knowing that the flight characteristics of you know, an F-16 are pretty, you know, or an F-18, they're pretty incredible, but they aren't, you know, here to here in a blink of an
Zero
eye.
point turns, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So that brings me to a good question. I'm watching the footage of your game on the website. What's the name of it? SnakeTakes.com? Is that the best way to get there? I googled SnakeTakes, so I don't know the best way to get there. You have footage of the game that's currently in development. Is that the current state of the game?
we're usually about a month or so behind. It should have the date if like you go to the It's usually about a month behind, but yeah, it's pretty close.
It's a good representation of where we're at with the game. And so I see flight mechanics in it and I see shooting mechanics in it. And I'm wondering, what is this primarily going to be? Because, you know, there's some games that they show themselves off as 50-50, but it's really one with a little smattering of the other. What's this one going to be like? Is it going to be primarily shooting, primarily flying? What are we looking at?
And I hate to break the hearts of any real flight sim guys out there, because I'm Windows Flight Simulator, what are we on, 12 or whatever, the new one. I'm going to be going out and getting that pretty soon because it looks awesome. And yeah, I'm there with you, but it's a smattering. It's to break up the monotony kind of thing, right? To give a little more of an arcade-esque vibe to it. Because when we were in development, we were looking at like Call of Duty. What's the one?
Medal of Honor.
Yeah, Medal of Honor. Battlefield is the one. You know, graphically just like top tier, beyond top tier, right? It's like so close to reality now. I can't wait to see what it's like on these, PS5, Series X, 30 series from NVIDIA, so on and so forth. But we had to decide early where to, pull our punches and not pull our punches, and where to really swing for the fences. And graphically, we were like, we got to stand out there again. So we were like, you know what? There's not enough Beautiful Joe, Serious Sam-esque type games in this genre, in our opinion. Like just crazy over the top sci-fi with just like the juice, right? We call it the juice. Just graphically impossible, but like surrealistic, right? If you're going to give it a technical term. So there's realistic, surrealistic, and we're definitely in the surrealistic category, almost like throwing an artistic flair into realistically infused textures and materials and stuff like that. So still using like volumetrics and all the cool stuff, God rays and dynamic shadows and the whole bit, 4K resolution, but not focusing on realistic, I guess.
That's the way to go. I mean, you're saying the words I want to hear. I'm a Serious Sam fan. I've been
seriously. Oh, that's awesome.
I've been pining for a re-release of Beautiful Joe, and I feel like it's just never going to come because there's already a lot of there's a lot of wacky stuff out there. And so Call of Duty is something that seems to take itself a little bit too seriously. And it sounds like maybe you're okay to take something to the extreme and to really play up the parts, not necessarily silly, but the over-the-top parts, and really revel.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to go for a silly vibe, but you're right. Just play it up. Like, have some fun with it. Something that's original and really can't exist in any real sense.
Right.
Just having fun with it, yeah.
But
no, you go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So it does sound like, despite that, you are taking it serious with the information about the aliens and stuff. I wonder, how are you going to introduce that into the game? Are we looking at audio logs? Are we looking at like hidden files that you find? Is it a core mechanic in the game for progression to find more information about this? Just what's the presentation like?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So again, when we were developing it, we were like, okay, how are we going to do this? Because it's like real documents. It's supposed to be scary. Like we're trying to be controversial with this in the sense that it's like we're shaking people like this is real, like there's something here, and if we're wrong, like please find me the counter evidence for this mountain that MUFON and others have, right? Like it's insane. 10 million documents strong on MUFON side, and they're just a fraction of what's out there, I'm realizing now. And that's where we had to be like, okay, if we do it how the documents dictate, we're going to end up with like an X-Files thing where you're like Scully and Mulder running around with pistols and flashlights through the dark, in file cabinets. And I was like, oh, they tried that. They literally tried that, and it didn't really work. It was no Alan Wake or nothing like that. So we were like, you know what? Let's make it this awesome, blistering, bold sci-fi shooter at the surface. And then once you crack beneath the first layer and get into the guts of it, that's where the lore comes in. And it's like, after you pass a level, here's 20 or 30 documents. After you complete this quest, here's another 15 or 20 documents. Just freely give it away. It's like, we're going to try and be like Santa Claus, and I'm slowly becoming
I'm getting there, man. Don't worry about it. Me too.
Oh boy. But the reality is, we were like, you know what? Let's just give it a giant cachet like we got dumped with. We filtered through it as best we could, but at the same time, we didn't want to withhold anything. We were like, you know what? There's some pretty cool stuff in there. The Eisenhower briefing documents, the Psalm 101 documents. And if you're to believe what Pulitzer Prize winning journalists like Linda Moulton Howell are saying, they vetted a lot of these documents, the Psalm 101 especially, through and through, and all the personnel lineup, like Hill and Cutter. It's like, it's impossible for me to believe that our government, and I mean, no offense, guys, but especially the U.S. government, is capable of that sophisticated of a plan from 65 years ago. I think we both know that the Canadian and the U.S. government are born of the same cloth. We're cousins, right? Our government's just stupid at the best of times, and slightly on the I don't want to say the R word because that's not acceptable anymore. What would you say, guys?
I don't even know. I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's my question for you.
Crazy.
You're looking to drop truth bombs with this video game. And my question for you then is, how are you going to keep yourself safe, man? You're talking about people getting wiped off the map. You're dropping this game on people. Obviously, you're going to have some of the younger audience, some teenagers and stuff playing this game, some impressionable minds. Are you not worried about somebody trying to drop the hammer on you, dropping truths on the kids?
Oh, yeah, it's crossed my mind from time to time, like every other day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the reality is, I think that by coming forward like Bob Lazar and Edward Snowden, to a degree, even though you guys did a good job chasing that guy out of town.
I didn't do it. Don't put it on me, man.
I know.
It was me. It was all me.
Who did this stuff? Obama. We're going to blame Obama. I hate to do it, but Obama gets a lot of the blame. Obama and Trump combined,
he's Canadian. He can ride either side of the fence he wants, man. He can take us down either way.
And then you guys got like Gary, what's his name? The Scottish guy, Gary McKinnon. He's like an exile to, I think he's in Ireland or Scotland. He's never getting off the Isles. It's like anyone who does really bring, and I'm not doing nearly, full disclosure, guys, like, let's make this clear. I'm not doing nearly as much what they're doing. I'm not breaking into servers. This is all just stuff available on the internet. But even with that, it's like, there's a reason it's scattered amongst the internet. And when you type in real aliens, you get like 21 million pages of, what, right? Like most of it's like a kid in his basement. This is my alien theory kind of thing. You gotta believe it. And we were like, we don't want to be preachy either, because that's like, I don't want to name names, but again, that's like so Trump. It's like, this is what it is. And you just keep talking until you think it's real in your own head, and everyone else is supposed to believe that too. It's like, oh, no. So we were like, let's just give it to them. Give it to them just like I was giving it.
Let them decide.
Let them decide for themselves. Don't be that preachy guy. And there's going to be 50% of them who won't even read it. So there you go. That's why it's a sci-fi thriller at the top, to excite people who just want to play the game. And if you want to dig into that lore, cool.
So I don't want you to spoil it, but I'm hearing from you that the aliens are not so benevolent in the papers that you're reading. In the game, are they benevolent? Because the trailer that I'm watching, you see some scenes looks like you're blasting aliens. Some scenes it looks almost like you're rescuing the aliens, and it presents kind of a complicated relationship. What's going on there? Is there something to it, or am I misinterpreting what I'm seeing?
No, so hopefully we're doing a good job by conveying that, because that's exactly it. There's the bulk of the races that you encounter are malevolent. working with the gray. So there's like the gray and the variants, the tall whites, and we're trying to draw like sort of like a Gene Roddenberry written story where he's drawing from scientific theories and hypotheses of the day to put it, warp drive and all that stuff, right? We're doing the same thing, but from the X-Files, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like we're from the papers, the documents that we're reading that are supposedly real. And I always do the air quotes because some of it, you talk to guys like John Lear and he's telling me the moon is hollow and all this stuff. And then you read the documents and there's nothing about that in there. And so you start to question the guys who are giving you this information at the same time. But the question always comes back to if these are all fake, oh man, someone had a really, really, really stout mind and vision of where the future was headed. Because to mastermind a plot like this is like it's the greatest conspiracy ever pulled off.
Yeah. So let's get into some technicals then. I think one question that we have here, one thing we want to say is, if you had to finish this sentence, how would you finish the sentence? End of the beginning is for gamers who blank.
Love conspiracies.
Love conspiracies.
I would say love conspiracies and love hardcore sci-fi games.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing that's got my interest piqued, Jim. I consider myself somewhat of a skeptic. I read the theories and stuff and I think, okay, these guys are reading a lot of stuff. Here's what's got me peaked though. You get a good team that really believes in what they're doing and they're diving into the information and they're presenting the information as best they can in the real stuff that's out there. And you can usually get a good product in the end. And that's what I'm hearing from you. That's got me excited because you look at alien games out there, you see like Destroy All Humans, you see Area 51, and they have the alien stuff and they pay lip service to the conspiracy theories, but that's not the crux of the game. And so whether you're a believer of the conspiracy theories or not, I think that this is going to be interesting because you're going to be seeing a real facet of it. You can look at any culture or group on the internet and you can dive deep into it and you can find things that are, interesting just in the inherent connections that are being made and the sequences, the picture that's being painted. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what's got my interest peaked with the story is, this is what they perceive as the truth. This is the information they want to get out there. And now you're being presented with that rather than just some obvious blatant fiction that's inspired by something else. And so that's got me interested because what it tells me is you're motivated to complete a picture and present that picture forward and really want people to inspect it. So that's what's got me hyped about this game and hyped about the story. So that sounds really good. I do want to take a quick turn here and talk about VR. You mentioned that the VR aspect's not going to have any sacrifices except for graphically. I don't know how far into the development of the PlayStation VR aspect of it is, if you can give us any kind of details on it, but we do just want to know how is the VR aspect going to be implemented in the game?
Well, we're trying to go with a smooth locomotion. So you're going to actually, what we're finding internally is we're having the most fun and keeping the skill level really high. By utilizing it, and a lot of guys are going to be like, "Ugh, cringe, bro." By using the DualShock itself in combination with the headset, it's kind of weird.
I'm a believer of that, man. Resident Evil 7 proved it. Resident Evil 7 proved it. You can have a great gaming experience because here's the deal: the aim controller, if you can implement that, it's fun and it's good. But the DualShock, we have this inherent brain connection to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Aim with your head, it's like mouse look. It's like the benefits of mouse look with the benefits of a controller combined. And so, hey, I'm all aboard with that. I'm all aboard.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope a lot of people will, exactly. That's a great Resident Evil. I didn't even think about that. That's a great example. But really, I hope a lot of people come around to the idea because it's not like I'm a great Doom player or a great Call of Duty guy, but when I played Doom in VR and they were using the teleport mechanism, I was just horrible at it. I didn't enjoy the experience. I more or less just started finding really beautiful spots and waiting for guys to come to me. It really changed the whole flavor. It wasn't Doom for me. And that's when we were like, you know what, let's stop breaking our backs trying to figure out how to make this motion controller really work without an easy out, like a teleport system. And really the only game I can think of that did a significant justice to the system is probably Alex. Like that's, if you were going to point at a game and be like, that's really, if you're going to use those motion controllers properly, that's how you do it. And even it, you know, if you're to listen to the critics, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, even that's still kind of, you know, half the time. And I'm like, you know what? I think we made the right decision. It's going to peeve some people for sure. They're going to be like, oh, cringe, bro. You make me use the DualShock with VR. How does that? My hands are, you know, but that's just, it's how it feels really good for us as a studio. It flows. You get that experience of being in the game, but you don't lack any of that mechanics of motion and the stuff that you're used to. It's like you said, it's intuitive, it's natural for most of us.
Yeah.
We haven't even, I know, Alex doesn't even let me talk. He sucks. He gets going, and literally I've been silent for 20 freaking minutes. Screw you, Alex. So
I saw you pull out the stopwatch, Adam.
we haven't even talked about which platforms this game is going to be available for. So we know probably the big ones, but in terms of also VR, how about you just tell us all the platforms this will be available in?
So main is PC, obviously, right? PC Master Race all the way kind of guy. But consoles, we're going for, if we do our jobs correctly, right now it's working on the Xbox One family, the PlayStation 4 family, so everything inclusive in there. And we're aiming at the Series X and S and the PlayStation 5, the big boys. So beyond VR, it's going to be most of the consoles we're familiar with now, plus the two new giants in the market. And if Nintendo gets their stuff together, which I'm really hoping, I'm hearing some cool stuff. Like if there is a Switch Pro and it's got the ability, we'd love to go to Nintendo, because I grew up Nintendo. I was a Nintendo guy all the way until, I went till Barney, right? The GameCube. So yeah. I think that's where they lost me. But yeah, I'd love to get back on board because my kids are playing Switch. I'm playing Switch now. It's cool. Like I'm one of those guys who I'm agnostic. I love they all have something cool. Like, I get my Gears of War going on Xbox. I get my, Resident Evil, my Final Fantasies on the PlayStation, and then PC fills in whatever else you got, right? Like if you got Ori and the Will of the Wisps, or the next big popping in a AAA from Bethesda. Oh, right. Yeah. They're Microsoft.
Yeah, we don't talk about them anymore on this podcast.
Sorry.
So you mentioned the PlayStation 5. You're working to get development on that. You know some of the features of the PlayStation 5, talking about the DualSense and the haptic feedback stuff. I'm curious, are you thinking about implementing that? How are you going to pull that off in the game? Do you have ideas that you
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely have to implement it. It's just the cool, like Sony finally, they were looking at the DualSense and like, it's maybe time, right? It's time that we made this thing the next big thing, because Microsoft has obviously stolen the show for a few years, and nothing wrong with the DualSense. I like the DualSense. In fact, I love the DualSense. The feel of having your thumbs together is kind of cool. Microsoft should kind of take a look at that in the future. Maybe the ergonomics of real hands. But anyways, besides that point, really, it's the next big thing in controller tech. Even Microsoft, I think, is looking at that, and they're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, we kind of invented some of this stuff, but that's what you can really do with it.
We're going to hop on board, right?
Yeah, like, wow, okay, yeah, haptic feedback. What's that again? And Nintendo's like, told you. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys, get on board. And yeah, Sony's really kicking. I think, if it's implemented properly, having the feel of a real trigger, right? Yeah. And the action of what you could do for like a bow, an arrow, for example. A lot of people are using that reference, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's
makes way you want to put a bow and arrow in the game, right?
Yeah,
every game needs one now.
I'm thinking, Horizon Zero Dawn did it, so we got to do No, we want to be original, so like we'll let them do. And that's the thing, like we bow down to like the guys who are doing it, Guerrilla Games and like Insomniac. It's like Miles Morales. I don't know who's more excited, my kids or me, for Miles Morales. It's like that's where gaming is at. You got 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds that are waiting in line with the 13, 15, and 20-year-old. It's like, it's the coolest time in gaming right now.
Yeah.
And that's why we were like, you know what, let's swing for the fences. And even if we hit like 1% of where we're aiming, we'll do good. We'll have a sequel, right? It might be another indie, but that's okay with us, right? Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But if it, if it happens to strike a nerve, because it is really, the first question in the game is like, chapter 1, what if God doesn't exist? Like, you bring this up at the family functions, and you get some really
You're trying to blow minds right off the bat, man. But
great conversations, turkey legs flying.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, us Canadians, we're weird. We do the Thanksgiving in October here.
Yeah, so you must have just had it. You must have just
last weekend.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you then.
Thanks. Yeah.
So we're running out of time here. It's winding down. I do want to give you that PR opportunity. How can we best support your studio and learn more about your game? Give us the spiel, man. Give us the quick rundown of how we can learn more about you, your studio, your game. What is it?
Right now, it's real simple. Just go to the website, sign up to the mail list. We're just trying to get the community together right now. We've been, I almost said balls deep. We'll say that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Do it. Yeah, we've said worse.
We've been balls deep in development for the last 2.5 years now, going on 3. So, like, we're ready to start showing people. We're at pre-alpha. Prototype, whatever you want to call it. We call it pre-alpha stage, where it's playable pre-alpha now, though. So we got enough levels strung together with a bit of a storyline where we want to start showing people and seeing what they think and get some feedback. So Kickstarter is probably the next thing, and then we're going to probably put it on early access, I think.
All right.
That's most likely the next step. We are talking with publishers, but at the same time, I've told the community for a while now that it was going to be in early access, and I don't want to be that guy. It's like, we got to get.
Do you have an estimated release for when you want this to come out?
Early 2021. We're shooting for the early access, and then by the end of 2021, the way we're staging it is we're kind of like late release the early access so that we have a little bit of a head start on the console stuff. So by the end of 2021, we could probably see the PC and the base consoles together. And then I'm guessing it's going to be into the early to mid 2022 for the VR, because it's just there's enough work there where we don't want you guys getting headaches with 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to keep it like 70 to 90 if possible. So that's what we're shooting for. Is on the what's the spec? I think it's 1440p for the high-end Quest 2. Is that what they're shooting at right now?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah. It's something like that. Yeah, at 60 to 90 for VR. So yeah, we still got a lot of work ahead of us, but at the same time, we promised that we would get this thing out early, and we would be really transparent with the staged release and access to the information side of it and how to support. So right now, just going to the website, sign up to the mail list, so that we can let you know when it's time, because the Kickstarter is going to come with a digital code for the early access game itself. So just by supporting us with that little bit of donation to help the studio, you'll get a copy of the game right away, and then you can be in our ear and telling us, make that gray purple, and I'll be like, we'll think about it.
We'll think about it. Yeah. Make the little green men little gray men. Yeah.
There's a lot of great idea guys out there. So I think that early access is like important for us in that way. A lot of studios are like, yeah, let's just we're AAA, but let's go early access and soak that money. And I'm like, no, man, try and leave it for the indies like us who are bootstrapping this with no money, and we got families to support on the side. So that's, we'll be fair about it. We're going to give you guys access to some cool stuff for any donations. But right now, we're just going to build up the community, and that's the mailing list on the site. The main way to, like us on Facebook, like us on the YouTube, that's cool. But really, we just need you to sign up to the email list so we can keep you up to date. That's
all right.
What we're hoping for.
Well, Jim, I don't want to get you cut off. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I'm going to be keeping my ear to the ground, following your games, and finding out the truth when it comes out there, man. So thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing all of this. This is Jim
from SnakeTakes. Go check out their game, End of the Beginning. It's looking great already, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So, Jim, thank you so much, and join us after the break, listeners, for segment 3. Welcome to Play PS5, the podcast, segment 3. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. SnakeTakes himself, Jim, talking about his upcoming game with us. It's just wonderful to talk to the developers, the indie developers, Adam. They have a passion for what they do, just like you and I have a passion for podcasting and PlayStation, baby. And speaking of passion, Adam, you have a passion that you need to scratch. You have an itch that has been burning in your loins. Tell me about that itch. What you going to win with it?
Here's the thing. We found out that you got to take your Wi-Fi off. If you're using the app, just use mobile. Okay, here I had one token, man. It's the PS5. Here we go. Okay. You didn't win. I didn't win. I didn't even win a biscuit. Didn't even win a biscuit.
We need to keep a tally of who wins the most things. Whoever wins the PlayStation 5, they win the whole game. But like right now, I'm winning with a croissant sandwich, and then in the end, we'll tally it up, and whoever has the most wins, other person has to eat a bean.
It's not fair because you're getting 2 times the token.
There's no reason you can't do that now.
Dude, I'm not eating it every day. I'm doing all the mail-in.
Yeah, I'm putting in the work so that I can make sure I win.
Oh, I'm not going to eat a bean because you're too stupid and you're willing to pay for $200 worth of BK.
One man's stupidity is another man's genius. Adam, let's move on. I want to talk to you about peripherals. More specifically, I want to talk to you about what am I going to do with my peripherals and accessories when I don't have a PlayStation 5. Why am I wondering about that, Adam? Because I got an email from Sony themselves telling me they're going to send me my accessories on October 30th, 12 days before the launch of the PlayStation 5. Adam, you're not going to get that because you're on stupid soy boy GameStop pre-order over there, walking in, talking to...
No, I have a pre-order with Cuckstop. I mean, GameStop.
GameCuck, yeah.
Yeah, GameCuck.
So apparently Sony, they sent out like a glitch email telling everybody they were going to deliver the digital PlayStation 5 early. Well, I didn't have a digital PlayStation 5, so I thought it was spam. But a lot of people got it, so it wasn't spam. Turns out they're actually sending the accessories early. So, sorry, I got the burps from my jalapeno poppers that I had from Burger King. I'm getting the DualSense charger early. I'm getting the headset early. I'm getting the camera early. Hopefully, I'm getting another controller early. A lot of early stuff happening here. Adam, what should I do with these accessories when they come in early?
You know, here's the thing I would do. And the only reason I'm really jealous of you for this, obviously, I don't care about the headphones, didn't even get them. You're not going to be able to use any of the other stuff. But what you can do is go ahead and unbox it. You can go ahead and charge your controllers. You can have everything ready to go. That way, when you get your PS5, all you have to do is unbox it and plug it up. For me, I'm going to have to unbox all that crap, deal with all of it. I mean, you know, we're talking about an hour's worth of extra work here for me. But when I get that PS5, when you get that PS5, you want to spend as little time possible between when you pick it up, when that handle is in your hand and that game is loaded up. And so you got the upper hand on me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have the PlayStation 5 sitting there. I'm gonna be gripping and ripping, burning through some Demon Souls while Adam's gonna be like, oh, it's got the HDMI cord and there's the USB-C, USB mini. Where do I plug it in? Mark Cerny, get off my mom, Mark Cerny, help me put this together. And I'm gonna be just sitting there, Demon Souls, Miles Morales, sitting here. Adam's auntie, isn't this fun? We're playing PlayStation 5 already. Adam's not even playing PlayStation 5, and that's what it's gonna be like. Adam, let's move on. There was another big special announcement this week. They showed us the user interface in a surprise state of play. They showed us the PlayStation 5 user interface, kind of pretty much the last nugget to drop, the last little treat morsel of hype they can give us. How are you feeling about the user interface? Tell us what they showed and how you're feeling about it. What new things are we learning?
Well, I am now suckling at the nipple of Sony because I am so hyped. It is unreal. And it's funny you bring up Demon Souls because one of the most unique things about the user interface that I thought after looking at their 11-minute state of play that they randomly dropped on us on like Wednesday is related to it probably exists because of Demon Souls. So for PlayStation Plus members, there are in-game hints for some games on the console, and it's in the console. So for example, in Shadow of the Colossus, when I couldn't figure out where to go or how to defeat a boss, I had to stop and look it up on my phone and watch someone on YouTube do it, figure out, okay, that's where they are, but where I'm at, where am I? It's a mess. But with this new console, there can be a little pop-up that comes up while you're playing your game and give you in-game hints. That way you can follow the character. It's a lot easier to just follow. It gives you in-game hints. And the reason I mention that is because Demon Souls, it sounds, I don't know in what way it's difficult, but if it's difficult in the way that I don't know how to beat this boss, that in-game hint can pop up almost seamlessly, give you a hint on how to defeat that boss. And that to me is going to be something that potentially is so clutch, because games that are a little more difficult, a little more not as transparent in what you're supposed to do are very aggravating to me. And so this is going to be something that could be a game changer for me. And do you think it's going to, well, you've played Demon Souls enough that, how about Sackboy, Alex? Your mental fortitude's pretty low. So are you going to have trouble finding those stars or sacks in Sackboy?
I'm sure it's going to be difficult sometimes with the orbs and Sackboy, but the whole reason you play that game is to explore and try to find the hidden stuff. So, I mean, I might use it if I start getting frustrated. So that'll be nice. It'll eliminate frustration. Demon Souls, that's a good one, because here's the thing about Demon Souls. Not only is the combat difficult and stuff, but there's a lot of nice hidden elements. There's like interesting artwork to look at, lore beats that you wouldn't find if somebody hadn't pointed you in the right direction. And if that can help out, I mean, the game has a built-in mechanism already to kind of do that. You can write messages on the ground to people to kind of give you hints, but watching somebody do it in video is going to help. Now, my big concern is, are these videos developer produced only? Are they user produced? That's what's going to make or break this system. Because if users can make it and get it uploaded, not only are you going to get helpful videos, you might get funny videos, you might get interesting videos.
But see, I don't want those. I would rather the developer do them, and that limits the number, because then you have to go through, say there's a Sackboy or a Demon Souls, and I don't know how to beat a boss. What if I have to go through 5 to 7 user hints before I actually get a good one? I don't want to do that. I'd rather the developer have one single hint and that help me the way through.
Well, it's contextual, so that'll help out filter things. And you could probably filter it by saying, I don't want everybody's videos. I want the developer videos. But it's dependent on how much the developers work on this, right? I have a feeling it's only going to be like Sony games that use this, and then like EA games or Call of Duty or something might have some lip service to it. But I really don't see it being like a big, third-party utilization of this technology. It's very cool and it's very interesting and it can be very useful. I'm again, like all the stuff that we're seeing with this generation, Sony's throwing a ton of stuff at the wall, and we're just going to see what sticks.
See, here's the thing, and here's the reason why I think, you suck. We even talked about with the DualSense, you mentioned there's a lot of new features with it that are incredible, but you think it's too early on, and even like third parties, they may not use it, and so it's going to lay the groundwork, but it's not going to be that used, so you weren't that hyped for it. Well, we just talked to a very small studio, and they are going to implement it. It's coming, baby. People want to be on board. This is something that's going to be extremely nice. I hope that others use it, but it seems like from everything I can tell, all of the launch games and then the very few other like third-party games that I'm looking into, they're trying to utilize a lot of these newer features, and I don't know why the user interface would be any different.
Yeah. So other things of the user interface, they have that hint system. They have another interesting thing telling you like the progress on each level that you'll have built in. Another thing that I think developers have to utilize, but it is cool to like be in the middle of a game. Some of these RPGs where you have like 50 quests going on at once, you can pull up your quest list and see, oh, this one, it's only going to take me about 10 minutes to complete. That's good to know, because I know I've played like Skyrim and stuff and think, oh, this quest sounds simple. Go talk to this guy. And it ends up being like a multi-hour quest where you're running across the map 5 times. To have those kind of hints, it's really going to refine my game time and have me waste less time, which is really what I need, because time's at a premium. So that's an interesting thing. I just think, again, it's going to be dependent on the developers being able to utilize it. Adam, what was anything else that you thought was interesting about this user interfacing? What was your takeaway here?
Yeah, so even going back to that, what you mentioned, I think that could potentially be a double-edged sword. Like, for example, let's say Uncharted 4. I didn't love the game. I was ready for it to end, and there aren't little side quests. So probably what they would do is tell you what percentage of the game that you're all the way through. Well, because I didn't really like the game and I found it annoying and I didn't want to finish it, by knowing that I'm only 30% of the way there, I may die. Whereas I think, I don't remember where it was, when I was actually percent of the way through, I was like, oh, okay, I'm real close. I can fight through. It wasn't the case, but had I known I was only 60% of the way through, I may have quit. I straight up may have quit. So
would you not have preferred to quit though? That's the thing. It's going to save you time.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to save you time.
Potentially, but then you were like, I bought this game and I played. I know it's rough. So the couple of things I also noticed that, I mean, everyone's talking about the speed of it. It is so fast. So in the beginning of the state of play, they showed you coming out of rest mode where you click your username, it pops open your home screen and to start a game. So that's what the first thing they did. Dead serious. After they logged in, so thing comes up, they log in, took no time at all. They hit Sackboy, and in rest mode, it's like your game's kind of suspended, like it kind of remembers, but there's some loading in PS4. It is almost instant in PS5. It literally took less than a second. And then they played Sackboy a little bit, showed some stuff. Then they went out back to the home screen and opened up a whole new game that wasn't open at all.
Destruction All-Stars.
Destruction All-Stars. And that was insane, like almost immediate. It's so fast, which I think this is going to be one thing that people think back. I think back at the PS4, and other than a few games, I'm like, load screens weren't that bad. But when they are this fast, I think it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be something that more of us realize that the load screen sucked than we even remember. So that I'm very excited for. What do you think about the speed?
Listen, man, after going back and playing some of these PlayStation 4 games, I don't know if my PlayStation 4 is getting old or what, but the load times are excruciating on these things. But the other big thing is just how fast you got into games, how fast you change games. The PlayStation 4 interface is very sluggish. So the fact that they noticed that and they wanted to improve it and they improved on it so drastically gives me a lot of hope for how we're going to be enjoying these games. Like I said, I don't want to waste time. And it seems like all they want me to do is spend my time playing games, not spend my time waiting for the PlayStation Store to load for some reason.
Yeah, true that. Another thing I liked is that you can accept chat invites while playing your game. Here's the thing. One reason why I hated what's that stupid thing? Firewall 0 Hour. Because when you wanted to play a game with each other, you sent me an invite. I had to back out of the frigging game.
Yeah.
And then I had to accept the invite. And then with that game specifically, there were more issues than just load times. But it was a pain in the butt, whether it was Battlezone, whether it was Firewall 0 Hour, any multiplayer game. I always thought that was a really stupid way of designing accepting invites. And they changed it. You can accept those invites in game, which is clutch. You can also watch a friend play their game while you're still playing yours. So I'm going to be sitting there playing Sackboy because I just won it from Burger King for free. And you're going to be playing Demon Souls that you paid $70 for because you didn't win it from Burger King. I can watch you get crushed while collecting orbs with my hints that are in game. Dude, what more can you ask? That is incredible.
I know what's going to happen to him. You're going to be playing Sackboy while watching a boy play with a sack.
No. Okay. Another thing is just, again, joining game is so fast and easy. The PS Store, you mentioned it loads. You're right. I don't know why it takes so long to load the stupid PlayStation Store, but here it is fully integrated in the system. It's not its own app, and because of that, it's going to be a lot faster, which I think I'm a huge fan, just because when you do have to go in there, it's not horribly often, but why is it so slow? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, here's the one thing that concerns me. The fact that it's integrated into the system. Does that mean that online functionality is mandatory for the system? AKA, if my console goes offline for whatever reason, am I going to be locked out of my system? There's not been much talk about that because people kind of take it for granted that we can play offline, but I'm wondering if this is like a backdoor thing in there we're going to discover after the launch of the system. I hope not. I hope that it's only a superficial integration, but it kind of has me worried that they've said that it's integrated into the actual system.
I mean, you'd only lose access to not being able to purchase anything.
Maybe, but if it's integrated into the system, I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where it's like you can't play the game because you can't log into the store.
No way. There's no way that's the case. That doesn't even make any sense.
Who knows?
Right now, there's no way.
Microsoft tried to do it. Steam does it on the PC sometimes if you don't know how to put it in offline mode.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
You're the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Listen, another thing they have, I'm going to be honest, guys. People have sent me, and I'm sorry in the past, you've sent me PSN messages on my PlayStation, and most of the time my responses are very short, concise. I'm not being a D-bag. I hate having to use the DualShock and use that little freaking keyboard and type in, because I don't use my computer to type messages back and forth. So I have to use the keyboard with the DualShock. I hate that. It takes so long to just tell someone, no, Alex is actually, his is 4 inches, not 5. It's so annoying. It takes so long, but now, boom, they realized that there is voice to text. I can just hit that little record button on the DualSense, be like, Alex's is 2, not 3. Boom, game over, send. So if you want to message me, let's do it, baby. I am open. I am open as Alex's couch when my auntie's not home or at his house. So
yeah.
Did that ever bother you, Alex?
I never talked to anybody.
Phone, right?
I never talked to anybody except for those like sexy girl bots that text me and try to flirt with me and stuff. And it's like the interaction that I've been needing for a long time.
Or Money Williamson.
Or Money Williamson, dude, just hopping into my party and talking to me. I don't need voice chat for him. He's just talking about his crew.
Yeah, dude, we are his crew.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so that's going to wrap up because this is a little longer episode of Play PS5 podcast, episode 9. We sincerely appreciate and thank SnakeTakes Studios for joining us tonight and talking about End of the Beginning. Definitely look at their Kickstarter, sign up for their mailing list. It looks like a very interesting game. Going to be PS5, PC, Xbox, all the good stuff, even VR. So if you're interested, definitely go. SnakeTakes.com is their website. Check it out. The teaser trailer looks very good. It kind of caught me off guard. It looks so good. And most time those pet projects end up being fantastic. So if you have yet to subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube and our Twitter, Play PS5 on everything. We put out quality content on all platforms. And if you're lucky, I'll show you a picture of my small little console, if you know what I mean. Remember, folks, don't play with yourselves. Play PS5.